Well, what's going on, everyone? Badger here. Make sure to like and sub, and let's get into this. Yeah, we were going to get a Mandalorian game. Yeah, it probably sounds and plays much like the Jango Fett game that we had. It was going to be bounty hunting. It's going to be really cool, but it didn't have lightsabers, and it didn't have the Force, and it didn't have Jedi. So that's apparently why they canceled it. And hot take, while I don't necessarily agree, I do 100% understand. So here we have Star Wars. EA's Mandalorian video game was supposedly scrapped because it featured no Jedi or lightsabers. EA, who I would argue has done almost nothing with the Star Wars license since they've had it. They've had it for about 10 years now. Yeah, we got the two Battlefront games, and they're all right, but they were missing a lot of maps and characters we wanted. Yes, we've got the Fallen Order, which I would say is the best thing. And certainly if I were to save anything from Disney's time with Star Wars, it would be Cal Kestis and all that. But other than that, we've never gotten the greatness that were the Knights of the Old Republic games, the Jedi Knight games. Of course, now we're seeing them bring back retreads like the Dark Forces remaster, which I'm playing. It's fine. But that's the point. The best Star Wars games are in the past, with the exception of few examples. We were going to get a new one, and here we go. We recently learned that the EA-owned Respawn Entertainment, who just fired about 900 of their employees, has pulled the plug on highly anticipated Star Wars video game featuring an unnamed Mandalorian. And of course, the game, which was going to be first person, that was going to be a mistake too. Should have done third person or the option. Started development in 2022 and generated a fair bit of excitement amongst fans. It was leaked and announced like a week before this cancellation, which is ironic. We've since learned that the Mandalorian bounty hunter wasn't Din Djarin, but he'd still have made use of a jetpack and even pulled off brutal takedowns similar to those seen in the Doom franchise, which, yes, there were a lot of takedowns. While the gameplay was described as linear, non-open world adventure, oh, that sounds horrible, players would have been allowed to select bounties from a central hub where they'd also be able to upgrade weapons and armor. According to the Origami YouTube channel via GameFragger.com, one of the main reasons EA scrapped this untitled Star Wars game was because it featured no Jedi or lightsabers. Basically, from what I was told, internal communications formulated by Electronic Arts, the goal would be to say to Star Wars, yes, but Star Wars without the Jedi, they reveal they're not sure it pays off sufficiently compared to what was going to be put in. And they're right. Sorry. This is the hot take where I agree with them. Look at Andor. I don't care how good or bad you think the writing was. It was slow. It was boring. It's Star Wars with no lightsabers or Jedi or the Force. And Star Wars without lightsabers and Jedi the Force is just another generic sci-fi fantasy. Sorry, I said the quiet part out loud. Star Wars and lightsabers and Jedi and the Force and the dark side and all that. That's what makes it fucking special. That's what it is. Can you have a game that works completely without any of that? Yeah. But honestly, I don't really want to play a Star Wars game unless there's Jedi and all that stuff in it. So the big problem that Star Wars Galaxies had, which led to them breaking canon and lore just to get lightsabers in there, which ultimately led to Knights of the Old Republic or the Old Republic MMO. So you could just play Jedi or Sith if you wanted. And that was the time period where there were a bunch of them. But yeah, it's one of the big problems with accurately adapting the OT and anything that happens afterwards, because for a long time, Luke is the only Jedi until he actually rebuilds the Jedi. So, could you have made a badass game, first-person shooter, I guess, that's linear, not open world, where Bounty Hunter did it, but even in that, there were lightsabers and Jedi. Okay, it's a different time period, but yeah, I don't disagree with that decision. Those within EA are supposedly being told, if there is no lightsaber, we're not too sure about that. That's it. In other words, they don't believe these Star Wars games can find success without allowing gamers to play as Jedi characters like Star Wars Jedi lead protagonist Cal Kestis. Now, that's the part I don't necessarily agree with. You could have a protagonist that doesn't use the Force, but that element, however it is, like even in the bounty hunter games with Jango Fett, he was going after, I think it's Komari Vosa or whatever. It was supposed to be a former apprentice of Count Dooku. She had the Force, she had a lightsaber, she was a dark side Jedi. It was in there. So yeah, that is a part of it. Otherwise, sorry, bro, it's just another generic sci-fi. That's like the main criticism when you take it out, is then it's very hard to tell. Yeah, can it be done? Yes, but they could barely do the good shit. So On the plus side, Ubisoft remains hard at work on Star Wars Outlaws. And yeah, we'll see about that. If you could change your character, which I don't think you can, I'm not really looking forward to genetic brunette female Han Solo that they're pushing, but that might be a case of that game is so good that just for the gameplay, you start playing it. As we've looked at EA Star Wars Studio Respawn's portfolio the last few months, what's clear is the games our players are most excited about are Jedi and Respawn's rich library of, and by Jedi I mean they mean Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor. President of EA Entertainment and Technology said in a memo to staff when the game was scrapped, knowing this, we have decided to pivot away from early development on a Star Wars first-person shooter action game to focus our efforts on new projects based on our owned brands while providing support for existing games. It's always hard to walk away from a project, she added, and this decision is not a reflection of the team's talent, tenacity, or passion they have for the game. Yeah, that is sad. Apparently, they've been working on it for a couple years, but obviously wasn't enough. It didn't have lightsabers, Star Wars, a Jedi, and they didn't think it was good enough to spend the money on. So here we are. Let me know what you think of this. Are you disappointed? 50-50. It probably sounds like it could have been good, but it probably would have been an under, and they're probably best to just focus all their talents on Jedi Order or whatever they're called, Jedi or whatever they're calling the third one. Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, whatever, Jedi Triumphant, whatever the hell they're going to do it. Because, yeah, I want to see Cal Kestis' story ended and then have him not be ruined by the sequel trilogy. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and sub. If you've done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you.
Well, bye.